It was March 23rd, 2017, when the last episode of Naruto Shippuden aired. Fans were both happy about finally seeing a long-awaited conclusion, but sad about seeing a beloved series end. There was this hole in many fans' hearts and people were just looking for the next big series to jump to. And luckily they didn't have to wait too long because just over 1 month later on April 25th, the first episode of Boruto would air. Finally, fans' desires were met. We would be able to see the continuation of our favorite story, the birth of a new generation of shinobi, and the adult lives of our favorite characters. But unfortunately, we were stuck with Boruto. The first 18 episodes were filler, and in fact, only 29 of the 188 current episodes are manga canon. Because of this, Boruto developed a stigma that seeped past just the anime and ruined the reputation of the manga as well. It was a stench that the series as a whole just couldn't get rid of. Devout manga fans swore that it gets really good, but anime fans have waited 180 episodes just to get to the point where it picks up, which was only chapter 16 in the manga. Because of all of this, a lot of you were probably like me in the sense that we dropped Boruto somewhere along the way. And with everything going on in Boruto right now in the manga and the anime, I decided to pick back up the manga so I could present a complete recap of everything that's happened in Boruto so far. This is Boruto. Boruto is a retelling of a story that has already happened. In present time, Boruto is in the midst of a deadly battle against Kawaki, where he declares that he's still a ninja. Even though his resolve is unwavering now, it wasn't always that way. So the story in Boruto recounts his journey from the very beginning, when he was a brat who sulked about his dad not paying enough attention to him, and at this point we get the first major clues about the death of Naruto, as Boruto constantly states that this is indeed his story, but at the start, it was also the story of his father, Naruto. Now back to the beginning. Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki are on a mission to catch a panda. Boruto is selfish and wants to do everything by himself. This is even reflected by how he uses shadow clone jutsu to make copies of himself. During the mission, Sarada proclaims that she wants to be Hokage. Then their sensei Konohamaru catches the panda using shadow paralysis jutsu. He uses the technique via a scientific ninja tool, allowing anyone to store a ninjutsu within a scroll and save it for later. This will also be a major plot point for later on. Then the new Team 7 arrives at Naruto's office, and Boruto reminds his dad that it's his sister Himawari's birthday today, and that he better show up in person and not send a clone. Around the same time, it's revealed that the Chunin exams are coming up, and a scientist asks Naruto if he would allow ninja tools to be used, which Naruto quickly denies. For the next couple hours, Sarada begs Boruto to compete in the Chunin exams because it requires the whole team to participate. After enough prodding, he finally accepts. When Boruto gets home, Naruto is carrying Himawari's cake, but his shadow clone suddenly runs out and he drops it, revealing that he didn't come in person. Boruto is really upset by this, and when he hears the doorbell ring, he runs at the door punching, but instead of seeing his father, it's Sasuke. Sasuke easily blocks the punch and goes to deliver a scroll to Naruto. Then a little later, maybe 30 minutes to an hour or so, Boruto sees Sasuke and attacks him from behind. He's easily defeated, but he sees just how amazing Sasuke is and asks to become his student. Sasuke sees some of a young Naruto in Boruto's determination and tells him that if he can master the Rasengan, then he can indeed become his student. After this, Sasuke goes to see Naruto and explains that to retrieve the scroll, he had to fight 2 Otsutsuki members, alluding to the fact that this would most likely be a big deal in the future. The next day, Boruto goes to Konohamaru begging to learn the Rasengan. He trains with the water balloon and ends up learning the technique after only around 20 hours of practice. Even though it's still very small for Rasengan, the progress was much faster than any of the predecessors that also knew the technique. He shows his Rasengan to Sasuke, who says it's very small and he wouldn't even call it a Rasengan. So Boruto gets mad, throws it off, and runs away. Coincidentally, Sasuke tells Sarada that he was going to be his teacher anyway, and we see a tree that got torn up after Boruto threw the Rasengan away. When Boruto runs away, he gets manipulated by the scientist to use a scientific ninja tool to make a bigger Rasengan. Using the tool, he shows it to Sasuke and brags about how he's far more talented than his dad ever was. Here it's implied that Sasuke knew that Boruto had cheated in some way, but he didn't mention it, and accepted Boruto to be his student. Then we switch scenes to see the two Otsutsuki members that Sasuke was talking about, and now they're currently fighting the Eight Tails. During the fight, one Otsutsuki member pops a pill, allowing him to deflect the Eight Tails Biju bomb, seemingly killing it. After defeating the Eight Tails, they absorb the chakra, complaining that it wasn't enough, and say that they can get the chakra they seek by absorbing Naruto and Kurama. A few days pass, and the Chunin exams are very close. The Sand Village travels to the exam, and we're introduced to the team that will be competing, with their ace being Shinki, the adopted son of Gaara. In the meantime, Sasuke continues his training with Boruto, where the main lesson is to not rush for immediate answers, taking the easy way out, which is beautifully juxtaposed with Katasuke telling Boruto that he can always rely on scientific ninja tools. Fast forward a couple hours and the Chunin exams begin. All teams were challenged with answering a yes or no question by standing on the corresponding platform. As soon as everyone was standing on a platform locking in their choice, a trap door opened. And the real test was to see who could catch themselves before landing in the ink at the bottom. All the usual suspects passed, and the next test was basically capture the flag. And here, everyone passes again besides Metal Lee, whose flag was taken by Shinki. Now all that was left was Boruto's team to win their game. Both Sarada and Mitsuki did their job, and it was all left to Boruto. He found himself in a 1v3 situation, which turned into a 9v5 with the addition of shadow clones. He ended up having to use the scientific ninja tools to win. Tenten didn't notice and was impressed, thinking that he could perform a jutsu without using hand signs, while the science group noticed and recorded the footage. With the conclusion of the second round, the Chunin exams were set to continue the next day. Shikamaru went to inform Naruto that Boruto had passed the first round and that their sons would fight in the next round. Then Sasuke arrives, checking on the status of the scroll decryption, which is becoming more problematic than they originally thought. Naruto mentions that he heard Sasuke was training Boruto, and they have their usual debate on whether the soul of a shinobi has changed throughout time. A few minutes later, Boruto gets home and his family congratulates him for passing round 2. He's thankful, but he also starts to feel extremely guilty about using the scientific ninja tool. While he's contemplating his actions, Naruto comes home and congratulates him. This makes Boruto really happy, but also pressures him to do well in the remainder of the exams. The next morning, the 1v1 matches commence and round 3 of the Chunin exams start. The first match is between Boruto and Yurui, and they have a pretty competitive match, but Yurui starts to take the upper hand using his exploding bubble jutsu. Then Boruto uses Sasuke's training to curve the kunai and pop a bubble while it was still in Yuri's mouth. The next few matches go as planned, with everyone you would expect winning, all leading up to the first semi-final match between Boruto and Shikadai. Almost immediately, Shikadai completely halts Boruto, catching him with his shadow possession jutsu. So Boruto relies on his scientific ninja tool once again to create more shadow clones. Everyone in the audience is super impressed besides Naruto. And at the same time as all of this is happening, Sasuke is informed that there's going to be a bigger problem with the scrolls and the Otsutsuki. Naruto exposes Boruto and declares Shikadai the winner. Next, he strips his son of his headband, but before anything else can happen, Kishiki and Momoshiki Otsutsuki arrive. Kishiki sends everyone flying, then Sakura and Tamari step in to start evacuating people. Momoshiki and Naruto start fighting, and it's revealed that they're here to steal the Nine Tails chakra. Then Momoshiki pops another pill and creates a giant chakra bomb. Naruto could easily blow it away, but everyone besides himself, Sasuke, and a few others strong enough to withstand the blast would die. So he decides to sacrifice his body, taking the blast head on. Boruto wakes up in the hospital a couple hours later, not remembering what happened. He's okay, but Hinata is also in pretty bad shape since she tried to help save Naruto at the very end. Boruto starts sulking and runs to his dad's office, eventually putting on Naruto's old jacket. At this moment, he realized the mistakes that he made and also that he was being too hard on his father. Sasuke walks in, gives him some pep talk and saying that he has great potential and he'd still continue to train him. The other Kage appears saying that Boruto is allowed to come help save his father. Sasuke gives Boruto his old headband. Boruto puts it on and declares that he's going with them, and Sasuke says he's finally starting to act like a shinobi. Then they all go into the portal. We move to the other dimension where Naruto is currently getting his chakra drained, but it's taking Momoshiki extra long since Naruto has so much chakra. Before they can complete the process, everyone arrives to save Naruto. Boruto and Naruto are able to reconcile about their argument following Boruto cheating on the Chunin exams. Then Sasuke starts to fight Kishiki, and the other Kage jump in and they're able to capture him relatively easily. The fight progresses and now it's everyone against Momoshiki. Sasuke realizes that Momoshiki can absorb their ninjutsu, but he can only fire it back at them once after absorption. All the Kage end up cornering Momoshiki, then he turns his ally Kinshiki into a pellet and eats him, transforming into a much bigger threat. After transforming, Momoshiki blitzes everyone. First he takes out the Raikage and Kazekage, and next he takes out the other two Kage with ease. Now the only people left are Momoshiki, Naruto, Sasuke, and Boruto, although Boruto is just watching from the sideline. Naruto uses KCM and starts clashing with Momoshiki. They're trading blows pretty evenly, and Sasuke is also teleporting in and out getting his hits in. At this point, Momoshiki starts freaking out and engulfs himself in a chakra monster, now gaining the upper hand on Kurama. Sasuke puts his Susanoo over Kurama and they're able to easily defeat Momoshiki. All of the Kage get up and suddenly Katasuke the scientist appears, wanting to finish off Momoshiki with a scientific ninja tool. Momoshiki just absorbs it, regaining the strength to stand up again. Then he casts a giant shadow paralysis jutsu, trapping everyone inside besides Boruto. He starts to charge up a blast to kill everyone, while Boruto starts to charge up a Rasengan of his own. He throws it at Momoshiki and it disappears, so everyone thinks it just fizzled out, but it actually ends up hitting him, cancelling out the shadow paralysis. Then Sasuke explains that Boruto subconsciously created a new jutsu, a new vanishing Rasengan. After hearing this, Naruto creates a massive Rasengan and passes it to Boruto. Sasuke teleports around a couple of times to confuse Momoshiki, and Boruto is able to land the Rasengan, defeating Momoshiki. After the supposed defeat of the monstrous Momoshiki, Boruto can sense something. He goes to look and sees that Momoshiki is still alive, at least in some form, and that time has been stopped. Momoshiki tells him that he has some of the Byakugan within him and his eyes will ruin his life one day, and that those who defeat gods would be changed forever. He goes on to place a seal on Boruto's hand, but unbeknownst to both of them, Sasuke was watching the whole thing. Neither Boruto nor Sasuke speak on the incident, and everyone travels back to the Leaf. Life is back to normal and Team 7 is back to going on missions. At this point, Boruto is still adamant in the fact that he doesn't want to be Hokage. He has a new plan for himself. He wants to be the Hokage's right-hand man. He wants to be someone like Sasuke. He remembers Momoshiki's words, but takes it head on, saying that he never planned on being ordinary anyway. Then he makes the declaration that he is a ninja, and this is indeed his story. And this marks the end of the Versus Momoshiki arc, and the end of the first arc in Boruto. Boruto, Mitsuki, and Sarada are out on a mission to catch the Mujina Bandits. They have a plan to find the boss by following one as they run away, but Boruto keeps zoning out, not listening to the plan. He keeps thinking about his encounter with Momoshiki and his conversation with Sasuke. Sasuke told him that he must be on guard and also be extremely careful about the mark on his palm. When he snaps back to reality, he sees Sarada in trouble, swooping in for the save. Then he goes one step too far, completely defeating him, ruining the team's plan. Meanwhile, news reaches Naruto's office and they discuss it, saying that the boss Shojoji didn't show up. What's even more terrifying is Shojoji's powers. He can copy the voice, appearance, and even memories of anyone he kills and transform into them. And at the same time that all of this is happening, Naruto also has to meet with the daimyo of the Land of Fire. On a lighter note, Boruto gets to enjoy just being a kid for a bit, as he spends his mission salary buying shinobi trading cards. In the middle of his shenanigans, he gets called to Konohamaru's office for a special mission. He is assigned to be the bodyguard of the daimyo's son, Tento. Boruto immediately doesn't like him, but Tento has lived such a different life from Boruto that he doesn't understand he's even being rude. The two spend the next couple days together, and Tento is a really big fan of Naruto and is just super excited to see Boruto's shadow clone jutsu. They end up bonding over their shared love of the ninja cards and their lackluster relationship with their fathers. Boruto decides to train him on how to throw shurikens, and he actually picks it up pretty quickly, hitting the bullseye consistently in under a couple of hours. At this point, they end up becoming real friends, but their time together is over since Boruto had completed his mission. Then it's revealed that Shojoji was watching them the entire time and already had one of the members of the daimyo's camp on his side. The next day, Boruto and the rest of his team is called to meet Konohamaru. On their way to his office, they discuss Boruto's mission, where he mentioned that he became friends with Tento. Konohamaru assigns them a B-rank mission, which is a really big deal for them. Boruto and Sarada both see it as something that will help them achieve their respective goals. On Boruto's way home, he notices a card that Tento stuck in his jacket pocket. He doesn't want it, so he decides to go visit Tento to return it. But by the time he gets there, he learns that Tento has been kidnapped. He decides that he must save Tento. But first, he rushes over to Sarada's to tell her that he can't participate in the upcoming mission. We cut to the warehouse Tento is being held in, and Yamaoka, who is one of the daimyo's attendants, was actually Shojoji the entire time. His plan is to eat Tento's brain so that he can use his body to lure out the daimyo. The only caveat is that to steal someone's body, they have to be alive when he eats them. But right before Shojoji can eat Tento, Boruto appears, kicking him out of the way, saving Tento's life. Shojoji sends 4 of his grunts to deal with Boruto to sort of test his abilities. Boruto uses Shadow Clone Jutsu and is able to take them out relatively easily, beating all of them almost instantaneously. Then Boruto and Shojoji start to fight. And the only thing stopping Shojoji from killing him right then and there is that he needs Boruto alive to steal his body. Boruto sends some more attacks at Shojoji, but he has a broken ability called Zephyr Shield, allowing him to repel any jutsu. He ends up catching Boruto and it looks really bad for him, but Tento was able to hit him with a shuriken, forcing him to release Boruto. After this, Boruto was able to hit him in the back point blank with a Rasengan. Unfortunately for Boruto, Shojoji just gets right up and Boruto's seal partially activates, rendering him incapable of continuing the fight. But luckily, Mitsuki and Sarada arrive, assisting Boruto, and they easily defeat Shojoji. The next day, Team 7 is back at the card shop, and Sarada finally gives in buying a pack. She gets an Orochimaru card, and to everyone's surprise, Mitsuki reveals that Orochimaru is his parent. At the same time as the kids are enjoying themselves, Shojoji is being interrogated by the Leaf, but he's not talking. Then Sasuke appears and Shojoji instantly folds. He asks him about the mark on Boruto's hand and he reveals that the Kara organization is behind the marks. The leader of the organization is named Jigen and apparently they're about to go on the offensive. So with the introduction of the main evil organization in Boruto, the Mujina Bandits arc ends. The next arc opens up with a conversation within Kara. Jigen tells the other members that they have lost their vessel. Everyone at the meeting are known as Inners, and the other members of the organization are called Outers. During the meeting, Kashi and Koji says that he will be the one to handle the vessel's retrieval, and that he would meet an Outer to complete the mission. After the meeting, Koji assassinates a fellow Inner. He sits there reflecting his actions, just thinking that he is linked by fate to the Land of Fire. Back in the village, Naruto has a sparring session with Boruto. Naruto destroys him as you would expect, but it was revealed that Naruto's prosthetic hand was a scientific ninja tool that could help him absorb any ninjutsu. Boruto was pretty upset for obvious reasons, and this would be the main theme of this arc, whether the use of scientific ninja tools is morally correct and whether it's something that ninjas should be doing. Even though Boruto is still upset, Sasuke tries to tell him that ninja tools are fine depending on how you use them. In the meantime, Konohamaru with a small team was sent to investigate a vessel found near Konoha, but when he opened the container it was completely empty, and unbeknownst to them, the vessel was approaching them from behind. Back in the Hokage's office, Naruto assigns Team 7 to a C-rank mission to deliver a scientific ninja tool and protect Katasuke. The team arrives on the train and Katasuke meets one of his patients, Lord A.O. A.O. was from the Mist Village and was badly injured during the last war, so Katasuke used scientific ninja tools to build him prosthetics. Boruto becomes very friendly with A.O. and ends up admiring him by the end of the train ride. As soon as Boruto's team gets off of the train, Koji appears and it's revealed that A.O. is a member of Kara. And it's also revealed that A.O. used genjutsu on Katasuke to steal ninja tool information from him. After this huge revelation, he leaves A.O. to retrieve the vessel while he says he has to go deal with something else. Boruto's team arrives at the lab and they're greeted by their former classmate Kakei Sumire. The team has to test out ninja tools through a series of sparring matches. The first has Sarada versus both Boruto and Mitsuki. Using a combination of a flashbang and smoke bomb, she's able to easily defeat the pair. In the next room, there's no sound at all, and in the room after that, they try out some special climbing gloves and boots. After completing all the experiments, they meet a ninja dog named Chimaru, and Katasuke explains that Chimaru once had a broken leg which he repaired using ninja tools, and that ninja tools were helpful to give power to the powerless. At this point, Boruto finally saw the value in ninja tools, and then he got a chakra saber which relied on its user's own power. Once everything calms down, the team gets a call from Naruto informing them that they must go search for Konohamaru and Mugino. They get ready to leave immediately and Katasuke puts on a ninja tool suit to help them in the battle. They arrive and immediately have to fight a small army of puppets. They all line up shooting fireballs, but Katasuke is able to absorb all of them, causing the puppets to overheat. They find Konohamaru, who appears okay, but as soon as everything starts settling down, Ao appears determined to kill everyone in sight. The battle starts and Ao has a chakra Gatling gun and starts shooting it at everyone. Everyone starts to attack Ao, but Ao has the upper hand the whole time. He eventually steals Katasuke's ninja absorption glove and is about to kill everyone. But at the last second, Mugino gives up his life jumping on Ao's back, sacrificing himself to stop him. Ao sends a chakra blade through his stomach, killing Mugina, but Mugina is able to use Earth Style, collapsing the cave, allowing all of his allies to escape as his dying act. Everyone gets away and they formulate a plan to defeat Ao, this time with Boruto finally embracing ninja tools. They confront Ao and start sending a barrage of attacks at him even though he can just absorb them. He realizes that this means it's diversion and Boruto must be in his blind spot, so he turns around stabbing Boruto through the chest, but it turns out that this was just a shadow clone. Then Boruto cancels out Ao's absorption device with the device of his own, and after nullifying his ninjutsu absorption, he hits Ao with a Rasengan. The battle continues and Ao gains the upper hand, holding Boruto, but using the same trick that Naruto did, he slips away using the gauntlet as a trap. Then Boruto used the chakra blade, slicing off Ao's foot and hand, then defeating him with a Rasengan. He decides to let Ao live, thinking that he could help people in the future. Then Kashin Koji appears, instantly summoning a steam toad. And based on Koji's appearance and jutsu, it's pretty apparent that he has some sort of relation to Jiraiya. After summoning the steam toad, Koji uses a Rasengan, overpowering Konohamaru's, and he reveals that he knows everyone's full names and a lot about Konoha. He lights Konohamaru on fire and is about to kill him, but Boruto is able to partially activate his karma seal, absorbing the jutsu. Koji reveals that whoever defeated Momoshiki would be cursed with the seal. Boruto passes out after using too much power, and Koji decides to let them live for now and leaves. Team 7 starts heading home, and on the way they find the vessel Kawaki passed out, and he just so happens to have the same mark as Boruto. And with this revelation, this marks the end of the third arc, the Kara/AO arc. We switch scenes to Delta and Jigen sharing a meal together. Delta is too annoyed by the vessel situation to eat, and she kicks the table away, but Jigen, using some unknown power, is able to conjure a new table stocked with the same foods and drinks. After enough prodding, Jigen allows Delta to go assist Koji on his mission. Back to Team 7 looking at Kawaki, they attempt to wake him up, and he has a flashback of his dad selling him to Jigen. Kawaki wakes up screaming, sending out a burst of energy. Then Delta arrives alongside with her outer Garo. Garo says that he's here to retrieve Kawaki. Kawaki transforms part of his arm and lunges at Garo, who swiftly blocks him. Kawaki then starts sending energy blasts at Garo, who was able to easily avoid almost all of them entirely. Then he stabs Kawaki and ends up grabbing him. Kawaki powers up, activating his Karma Seal, freeing him, but it also ends up activating Boruto's Karma Seal at the same time. Then with one punch, Kawaki rips open Garo and finishes him off with a giant energy blast. The blast is so massive that it destroys the surroundings and everyone could have died, but Boruto was able to absorb the blast with his own Karma Seal, saving the rest of his team. After using too much energy, Kawaki passes out. Upon closer inspection, Katasuke reveals that Kawaki is almost entirely artificial, being the most advanced ninja tool ever created. So the group decide to take him back to Naruto. Kawaki is sound asleep, dreaming about his past with Jigen. Jigen told him that he would give him a present, then sealed him in a clear bag, pumping fluids into it from a vase. The vase part will be important a little bit later in the story. Kawaki wakes up from his nightmare in a hospital bed surrounded by Naruto, Shikamaru, and Konohamaru. Kawaki instantly tries to escape, but Shikamaru easily stops him using his shadow possession jutsu. Naruto tells Kawaki that he'll have to live with him since he has to watch over him and investigate the Karma Seal. On the way home, Kawaki tries to bolt, but Naruto catches him very easily. When they get home, Kawaki throws a table, breaking Himawari's vase, and tries to run away again. Naruto uses KCM, and Kawaki realizes at that moment that he could never escape Naruto, and he also thinks that he may have a chance of actually being stronger than Jigen. Boruto comes home seeing Himawari's broken vase and starts yelling at Kawaki. He grabs him by the collar, but they end up exchanging names and calm down. Note that this is the first time in the manga that we were revealed his name to be Kawaki. The next morning, both Kawaki and Boruto have to use the restroom at the same time. But when they get there, Naruto was already using it. They go out back to use the restroom, and Boruto gets mad that Kawaki was standing next to him, while Kawaki gets mad that Boruto is trying to boss him around. They finish peeing, zip up their pants, and they get into a fight. And they actually start fighting pretty seriously, and Kawaki even activates his Karma Seal. But before they can clash, Naruto appears, breaking up the fight. A little later on, Kawaki asks Boruto how he got his Karma Seal, and Boruto tells him it was from Momoshiki. And Kawaki has a whole flashback of how he got his. Waking up in a plastic bag, seeing tons of other kids die in front of him from not being able to match with the Karma Seal. He talks about how he wished he died too, and that his life has been terrible ever since getting the mark, and he asks Boruto to help him find out more about it. Boruto declines for now since he's still mad about the vase. So Kawaki decides to buy a replacement, and Naruto offers to take him to Ito's flower shop. On the way there, they meet Sarada, who tags along, and Naruto goes to get a snack. Kawaki is surprised since he hasn't ever had a snack before. They arrive at the flower shop, and Naruto asks Kawaki to pick out a vase. After choosing it, he has PTSD when Ino puts flowers into it, dropping it and breaking it. Naruto consoles him and they head home. Kawaki shows Boruto the vase, and Boruto responds by giving him superglue. In the meantime, on top of the Konoha walls, Delta and Koji are looking for Kawaki. Koji tells Delta that she can't enter because the security system would pick her up, and he darts into the village. The next morning, Naruto asks Boruto to have a sparring session. Naruto is washing Boruto as you would expect, then Kawaki activates Boruto's Karma Seal for him. Boruto becomes much stronger and faster, but Naruto still wins and they do the unison sign afterwards. This triggers another flashback of Jigen just beating the life out of Kawaki while he was training him. After seeing the unison sign, Kawaki realizes that Naruto and his family are good people and decides he would fix the vase. But as he picks the bag up, Koji spots him. Kawaki goes inside and starts fixing the vase in front of Himawari. While Koji is observing them from outside of the house, Delta is beyond furious and sends her drone to go look for Kawaki. Boruto tells Kawaki that he doesn't need to fix the vase and he decides to help him. They have a sparring session so Kawaki can teach Boruto how to use the seal. They start going back and forth, and then Kawaki shoots off a chakra blast so Boruto can practice absorbing things with his seal. They finish the session and go to do the unison sign, but time freezes again and Boruto sees Momoshiki. Before they can get a hold on what just happened to Boruto, Delta arrives to take back Kawaki. Delta and Naruto start fighting. Naruto takes an early lead, pinning Delta to the ground and going for a Rasengan, but Delta absorbs it using her ninja tool eyes. They continue the fight and Delta stabs Naruto through the stomach. She pins him down and Naruto starts asking her questions as he's on the verge of death. Delta realizes that it was a trap and doesn't tell him anything. They start clashing again and Naruto has the upper hand. Delta uses eye lasers that incinerate its target at a cellular level so Naruto can no longer regenerate. Boruto gets very concerned for his father and tries to hit Delta with a vanishing Rasengan. Using the distraction, Delta grabs Himawari, throws her into the sky, and shoots her eye lasers at her. But right before it hits Himawari, Kawaki flies in, tanking the blast, shredding up part of his right arm. This gets Delta even more angry, saying that Kawaki only exists to be Jigen's vessel. And now Naruto is super mad and finally starts going all out. He's resolved to take out Delta, Jigen, and the entire Kara organization. He hits Delta with a giant Rasengan which she absorbs, then he hits her with a super giant Rasengan which she absorbs again. But this time, Boruto put so much chakra into the attack that it broke her ninja tool eyes. Then he hits her with one final super giant Rasengan, leaving her completely defeated. After defeating Delta, Naruto approaches her to capture and interrogate her. Then she self-destructs, sending away her mind/personality in a drone. She wakes up, popping out of a capsule good as new, retaining all of her memories and personality. She tells Jigen that Boruto possesses the Karma Seal, and Jigen concludes that Momoshiki must have left behind a vessel as he died. Back in Konoha, Naruto gives Kawaki a prosthetic hand, with the only downside being that it constantly drains Naruto's chakra. Kawaki starts training with Naruto and hanging out with the other kids, essentially just becoming a true member of the village hidden in the leaves. At night, Kawaki even starts repairing the vase. Late in the night while Naruto is sleeping, Kawaki continues to work on the vase. He realizes that there was a missing piece and tried to go look for it, but someone, or in this case something, stopped him, and it was Kurama. Kurama told Kawaki Naruto's whole story and how they're actually very similar. He told Kawaki that he should try to get past it in the same way that Naruto did. Meanwhile, Sasuke is investigating the Otsutsuki clan and Kara. He sneaks into a hideout and finds the holograms of 4 Otsutsuki members along with the Ten Tails. Then Jigen appears and he starts absorbing chakra from the Ten Tails and temporarily takes the form of an Otsutsuki member before quickly reverting back. Back in Konoha, Kawaki's seal starts to transform. He falls to the ground in pain and a portal opens. At this moment, Jigen steps out of the portal and notices Koji watching him. He kicks Naruto away, pinning him to the ground with chakra draining rods. Boruto notices Kawaki's Karma Seal is activating and starts running home. Kawaki partially transforms using the seal and Naruto gets up, kicking Jigen away, starting the fight. Kawaki thinks Jigen is too strong for Naruto to defeat. He gives in, saying that he would go away with him if he let Lord 7th survive. But Naruto won't give up Kawaki. Then Jigen opens up a portal to another dimension and takes Naruto along with him. After dumping Naruto in the alternate dimension, he tries to leave, but Sasuke appears, kicking Jigen away. Naruto and Jigen start clashing, but Jigen can absorb jutsu as well, and he brushes off Naruto's Rasengan, stabbing him with more chakra draining rods. Sasuke kicks away Jigen again, but also easily gets dealt with. Then suddenly Jigen disappears, reappearing above the pair. Sasuke said he figured out Jigen's secret technique and that it's size manipulation. Jigen decides that he should get rid of Sasuke first since he's more dangerous. He shrinks again, but Naruto uses a giant Rasengan on him, and since Jigen has to be stationary while absorbing jutsu, Sasuke is able to stab him. Jigen gets up, transformed into a vessel for an Otsutsuki member, and tells the pair that they won't get lucky again. Naruto and Sasuke decide that they need to take him out right now and start going all out. Jigen easily pierces Sasuke's Susanoo with chakra draining rods, pinning him to the ground. He charges at Sasuke, but Sasuke switches places with him using his Rinnegan. They go back and forth, but ultimately Jigen defeats both Naruto and Sasuke. Jigen runs out of chakra and he can't finish off Naruto, so he decides to go for Sasuke. Sasuke ends up escaping back to Konoha while Naruto gets sealed. Back in Konoha, all of the kids and Shikamaru arrive at Naruto's house. Shikamaru uses his shadow possession jutsu to capture Kawaki as he still thinks that he may be a spy. Then he puts Kawaki on house arrest. Boruto and Kawaki join forces to create a space-time ninjutsu, then Kawaki breaks the shadow possession, allowing the new Team 7 to go and rescue Naruto. Upon their arrival, they're greeted by Boro, another inner defending the seal holding Naruto. Boro starts to taunt them, using the sealed Naruto as bait. He uses a lava-style attack which Kawaki easily absorbs. Boro starts weaving hand signs, but Kawaki and Boruto don't notice. They charge at him and suddenly they can't move. Mitsuki bites Boro, taking a sample of his blood, then they run off to come up with a plan. Sarada examines the mist, determining it to be a virus that nullifies movement. Using Mitsuki's blood sample to create an antidote, Sarada appears in front of Boro saying that her other comrades can't move. When the right time comes, everyone jumps out from behind the rock, attacking Boro. They're able to blast him apart, but Boro just regenerates. Kawaki tells Sarada that since he can regenerate, they need to take out his core, but the only problem is that he can also move his core at will. Sarada determines the core's location using her Sharingan and rips the core out of him with the Chidori, then crushes it. After defeating Boro, Kawaki uses a space-time ninjutsu to get Naruto out of the seal. Then Boro starts transforming and grabbing everyone, and Boruto becomes a vessel for Momoshiki, gaining immense power and is able to easily defeat Boro. And in the meantime, Koji is at Kara headquarters ready to kill Jigen while he's weak. Kashi and Koji meets with Amado so they can set their plan in motion. Delta notices the mutiny and tries to interfere, while Koji prepares to fight her. Since Amado created Delta, he was able to give the command and just put Delta to sleep. Koji uses reverse summoning jutsu to send Amado to Konoha, where he runs into Shikadai and Inojin. He takes Shikadai hostage so he could speak to his father, Shikamaru. Using Ino's ability, Amado, Shikamaru, Naruto, and Dr. Katasuke are all able to communicate. Amado wishes to defect to the Konoha village and give away information about Kara as a trade. Naruto agrees and Amado goes to the Hokage's office to talk in person. Meanwhile, Koji is confronting Jigen. Jigen asks for his report and we go back to the Hokage's office. Meanwhile, in the Hokage's office, Amado gives tons of important information about Kara and Jigen. First, he tells them that Jigen is an Otsutsuki who was once human, where Sasuke refutes, saying that he's just a vessel given a karma seal by a real Otsutsuki member. Then Amado goes to reveal the true nature of the Otsutsuki. The Otsutsuki are aliens that go from planet to planet, sucking all the chakra out of it. They use the 10 tails as a bud, planting it within the planet to grow a gigantic tree. And all of this is to create a chakra fruit which the Otsutsuki eat to gain power and evolve. After Amado's history lesson, he shows them a live video of Jigen fighting Koji, where Koji reveals that he was created to kill Jigen. Koji and Jigen start going at it, and it's a pretty even battle. They're going back and forth, but no one seems to have the upper hand. Meanwhile, Amado continues to tell Jigen's story. Jigen is actually Ishiki. He came to Earth with Kaguya, but something happened causing Kaguya to turn on him. Ishiki, left on the verge of death, shrunk himself and crawled into Jigen's ear. He took control of Jigen's brain and entire body, placing a karma seal so he could transfer over properly. But Jigen's body isn't strong enough for a successful full transformation. If he attempted one, Jigen's body would give out in only 3 days or so. Because of this, Ishiki started working on a vessel and eventually found Kawaki. Amado tells them that if Ishiki gets fully reborn in Kawaki's body, they will not be able to defeat him, so he would teach them how to kill an Otsutsuki. Koji and Jigen continue to fight, then Koji uses a fire summoning jutsu and is able to fully burn Jigen's body. He burns Jigen to death, and Ishiki walks out, being forced to take his true form, fully taking over Jigen's body. As soon as Ishiki did this, all the other vessels stopped working, meaning that Kawaki's karma disappeared. Amado informs them that now they have the opportunity to take down Ishiki once and for all. Koji and Ishiki continue to fight, and Koji's mask comes off, revealing that he is Kashin Koji, clone of Jiraiya of the Great Three. Koji continues his fight with Ishiki, and Ishiki is completely destroying him. Ishiki tells Koji that Amado was just using him as bait, that he was just intended to bring out his true form and nothing else. Koji refuses to believe this and keeps on fighting. Naruto wants to go help Koji, but Amado informs him that Ishiki will be in Konoha to look for Kawaki very soon. Back in the fight, Koji seals himself within a toad to temporarily escape, and at this very moment, Ishiki teleports to Konoha. A couple of civilians spot Ishiki, and some shinobi stand up to him in an attempt to take him down. Ishiki instantly kills one and asks them if they know where Kawaki is. No one knows, so he starts heading deeper into Konoha. Back in the Hokage's office, Sasuke is talking to Boruto. He tells him that it would be tough to defeat Ishiki alongside Naruto and asks about his karma. Boruto tells him that it's Momoshiki's power and that he really wants to help, but he's afraid that Momoshiki might take over his body and kill all of his friends. Sasuke ensures him that he will deal with this if it happens. Meanwhile, Naruto meets up with Ishiki and starts fighting, but Ishiki takes every opportunity to destroy parts of the village. Sasuke arrives throwing his sword at Ishiki, and Boruto pops out of it, revealing it's a transformation jutsu. After revealing himself, he takes Ishiki to another dimension to continue the fight. As soon as the fight picks back up, Ishiki blitzes everyone, grabbing Boruto by the neck, saying that Momoshiki is around the 80% complete within him. Sasuke tries to use Chidori, but Ishiki grabs his arm and flings him at the ground. Naruto transforms and uses Shadow Clones attacking Ishiki. He grabs Ishiki with his chakra hands, and Sasuke goes for another Chidori, when Ishiki suddenly summons cubes falling at immense speed, crushing all of Naruto's Shadow Clones. Ishiki wants to kill them one at a time and goes for Sasuke first. Sasuke is able to block all of his attacks until Ishiki shrinks his sword, then enlarges it back to normal side, ready to stab Sasuke and kill him. But Boruto suddenly jumps on top of Sasuke, and Ishiki doesn't kill them since Boruto is Momoshiki's vessel. Ishiki rushes up to Boruto and Sasuke, kicking Sasuke away and grabbing Boruto. He snaps Boruto's forearm, telling him that he needs to feed him alive to the Ten Tails, but he has no problems with hurting him. Naruto realizes that he's going to die without being able to protect the village, but Kurama tells him that they have one last chance. Naruto uses a new transformation, increasing his power tremendously, with the drawback being by the time he defeats Ishiki, he will also die. The new form is called Baryon mode, and it burns away all of his chakra, converting it into power, so once he runs out, he dies. The plus side to it is that every time he hits Ishiki, it also reduces his lifespan, bringing it all the way down to 10 minutes. Even though Ishiki's lifespan is so low, Naruto's is even lower at this point. Then, sensing Naruto's chakra and Kawaki's prosthetic, he uses a space-time ninjutsu to warp Kawaki to the alternate dimension to make him a vessel before he dies. Seeing the world's impending doom, Boruto passes out, awakening as a vessel for Momoshiki. Kawaki uses a smoke bomb and starts running away in an attempt to outrun Ishiki's lifespan. Ishiki jumps on Naruto's chest, saying that he'll kill him if Kawaki doesn't turn himself in within 20 seconds, so Kawaki folds. He shows himself in front of Ishiki, and Ishiki plants the karma within him, but it doesn't work. It ended up being a shadow clone, and Ishiki died before being able to create a new vessel. The heroes had won, and everything was good until Boruto appeared as the vessel for Momoshiki, instantly stabbing Sasuke in the eye. Momoshiki, Sasuke, and Kawaki go back and forth. Momoshiki tells Kawaki that he will feed him to the Ten Tails as his body is already mainly Otsutsuki. Sasuke tells Momoshiki and realizes that he can't absorb a lot of ninjutsu anymore. So Kawaki decides to start burning himself, causing Momoshiki to absorb the jutsu, using up most of his power. Then Boruto is able to take some control of his body back. He snaps off his horn and detransforms, falling to the ground out of the tea. Then Sasuke gets up, finding a completely unconscious or possibly dead Naruto. And in the most recent chapter, we get the huge revelation that Naruto indeed is fine. But Kurama, on the other hand, is passed on, and we see the death of Kurama. And with that last chapter, this has been the end of Boruto Completely Explained. This took a hell of a long time to put together, about a week reading and working on the script and just pulling panels. My voice is pretty much shot right now. Then it even took another week of just editing the video. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you a whole hell of a lot, and if you're all the way here without liking and subscribing, go ahead and do yourself a favor and get that done. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.